Hi, I want to talk to you about this OT toolbox. First, I just want to talk to you a little bit about the box itself. I notice with occupational therapists, a lot of times they're carrying a lot of stuff in from the car into the school or into the homes. So I think it's a really good idea to have something that has a handle on it as well as a latch so that you know it's nice and secure and closed. I really like this box as well because it has this front section that you could put anything you want in it, such as crayons or markers, and have it be used as a separate tray so it's not as distracting. Now we'll open this up and I'll show you some of the items inside. The first item I have is just paper. I think it's really important to have some paper and crayons because some of the assessment tests, such as the Peabody and others, like to see if the child can put a crayon to the paper, and then it could be good for older children to see how they're writing, and it could be really useful for a lot of different things. The next thing I have here is just a small windmill, and all you do is you blow on it to make it go. So that could be really good for oral motor skills, and then it could also be used for bilateral hand coordination. You could hold it with this hand and then spin it with this finger, so that could also work on index finger isolation. The next tool I have in here is just a simple cause and effect toy. A lot of the kids have goals that are asking them to operate cause and effect toys, so I think it's nice to have a fun one. And this one makes a lot of noise and music. When you push the button, this ball will pop off. And so then that makes the child understand that if they push this button, then the ball pops off, and it's a lot of fun and helps them with their cognitive skills. I also have a simple rattle here, and I like this because it's quite noisy and the babies can turn their head to the noise, and that could be important to assess, as well as how they're grasping it and if they're able to shake it and make noise. The next thing I have is a small perfection game with these small pieces. And basically they have to match the shapes to the shapes in here, and I like it because they're more recognizable shapes, such as a heart or a ducky, and this can really work on visual discrimination as well as some visual perceptual skills. For the older kids, they have to use a pincer grasp to actually pick up these pieces, so that could be really good to help work on the pincer grasp. The next toy I have is just a simple ball, and it's nice and soft, so it's not going to hurt anybody. And this could be used to work on bilateral hand coordination as well as upper extremity gross motor skills, and you can also work on hand-eye coordination. I have another ball in here too, but this one is more for sensory purposes. So you can touch this on the kid, and if they feel a little bit strange about it or they don't like it, that might be an indication that they could have some sensory issues. And then it's also a very bright color, so I like it because it could be used for visual tracking as well. I have these simple soft blocks here, and they are stackable, so they could work on stacking as well as the 3-jaw chuck grasp, and they're soft so they're not going to hurt or anything. And then for the older kids, they can also work on their numbers. I also have mirrors in here, 2 different sizes and one with a magnet on it. And basically I like the mirrors because in our babies lab I really noticed that the babies were very interested in the mirrors, and they could be great for visual tracking. The babies really seem to respond and follow them. And then it could also be used for feeding and making those silly faces to practice oral motor skills, as well as for awareness if they need help getting food off of their face or anything like that. The last thing I have is just a blanket, and you want to make sure it's a nice washable blanket. And this is a washable blanket that you could take into the home, and it can provide a nice space to work with, to work for tummy time or anything like that, so that there's a good open space to work with. And then also, it's great for determining if the child has learned object permanence, because you can easily hide things underneath it and see if the baby goes looking for it or how they respond to peekaboo. So these are just some of the items in the OT toolbox, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks!